For you, the day Bison graced your toy collection was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday. Welcome to 5 Points of Articulation. You guys have asked me to take a look at Street Fighter 2 by Jada Toys, so today I'm checking out the all-new Dhalsim and Bison. Starting with the packaging, and already I love these boxes. They're modeled to look like arcade cabinets, complete with controllers. Down in front we get our names and logos, and up top we get our health bars. Player 2 definitely isn't doing so good. The tops of the box have a little window that allows some extra light in. We get some stats on the side. I love how because yoga's a unique word, it just says yoga all the way down. But then you get to Bison's Psycho Power, otherwise known as Party Wagon. I'll be honest, when I think of Bison, I don't normally think of a party wagon. Otherwise, we get some product shots on the back, and other characters in the form of a player select screen. Another fun feature is that each character has a different battle stage from the game as its interior art. For those looking in store, here's the UPC for Dhalsim, and here it is for Bison. If what's inside the box is as cool as the box itself, I know I'm in for a treat. For packaging, I'm giving Street Fighter 5 points. Moving on to presentation, Dhalsim peaks just over 6 inches, with Bison at 6 1/4 to the top of his hat, or thereabouts in the ballpark of 16 centimeters. I'll be honest, at first I thought that seemed a bit on the small side, so I checked Google, and apparently Bison's canonical height is 5'11", with Dhalsim standing at 5'10", when of course not taking into account his stretching abilities. Out of the package, and I am blown away by these two. As a kid, Dhalsim and Vega were my go-to characters in Street Fighter, so this not just being my first Jada Street Fighter figure, but my first Jada Toys figure in general, feels pretty appropriate. Who was your go-to character? Let me know in the comments. One thing I'm really impressed by is the texture on Bison. There's a fine knit all over his body, and even though the plastics are different, all the shades of red match beautifully. The face and hat details have been nicely painted. Same thing with Dhalsim and his markings. Additionally, his earrings are actual metal hoops. Very nice job on the necklace. He's also got texture in his shorts and some subtle shading. Bison, by contrast, has some nice metallic paint for his gauntlets and also for his boots. One thing I really appreciate is just how well integrated most of the joints are. Obviously, some of them are going to draw attention to themselves, but small things like hiding the thigh cut under the shorts or the boot cut with these bandages really goes a long way. Additionally, the figures are pinless, which really does add some extra value. With so much amazing sculpted and painted detail, for presentation, I'm giving Dhalsim and Bison 5 points. Moving on to Poseability, and it goes without saying that not only is this a very important section, but as you'll see, it's also a really fun one. From the top, and both Bison and Dhalsim's heads are on dumbbell joints. Mind you don't lose the necklace. They also have additional ball joints at the base of the neck. Utilizing all their joints, they can look up this high and this far down. Not surprisingly, they have a great amount of tilt, and all the way around. Moving down, their swivel hinge arms can raise this high. They've also got forward and back with a butterfly joint, bicep swivels, and double jointed elbows with very respectable bends. Additionally, Bison shoulder pads are independently posable. And then at the ends of the arms they have wrists that can swivel and hinge either up or down. Moving to the middle, and Bison and Dhalsim have diaphragm joints and dumbbell waists. They can arch back this far, which is really impressive, and can hunch forward this far, which is just phenomenal. The secret, as we can see, is this extra groove. This also means they get a great amount of tilt and twist. Below the belts, and each figure has ball jointed hips. Even though Bison has a long coat, there's a nice soft piece here, so there's no trouble with a nice 90-degree kick. And just look at that split. Same thing with Dhalsim. Moving down the legs, and they have thigh cut, again with Dhalsim's nicely hidden by the shorts. They've also got pinless, double jointed knee, with Bison having a surprisingly deep bend given how thick his legs are. And while both figures' ankles can hinge and pivot, Dhalsim also benefits from boot cut. The articulation on these figures is approaching an import level of quality, and for Poseability, I'm giving Street Fighter 5 points. Moving on to Playability, and if you thought the articulation was good, hands down, this is the best part. Before jumping into accessories, I've got to talk about Bison's cape. First and foremost, it's wired, not only on the sides, but also on the bottom. Additionally, it's a nice heavy fabric. In fact, fact, it's actually dual layered. Seriously, just look at the kind of rippling you can get. For a mass market retail figure at this price point, frankly, I'm flabbergasted. If that wasn't enough, these aren't even his only shoulder pads. He includes a pair of alternate cape-free ones. Those clip on and off like so. Jada didn't stop there though, and Bison has an alternate extra angry head, a purple energy effect that can cup over either one of his fists, and a pair of alternate grapple hands. I know this is more of a conversation for price, but the amount of value in this box is unreal. And just wait till we get to Dhalsim. He has an alternate screaming head, great job painting the inside of the mouth, and again, I love the metal hoops. That said, in addition to the flat open hands he comes preloaded with, he also has some grapply hands. Mind you don't lose the hoops. But if that wasn't enough, he comes with a pair of extended arms and extended legs. And if that wasn't enough, they're bendable. They actually connect at the bicep swivel, so that way it maintains the articulation. The extended arms even come with their own hoops, so you don't have to swap them out from arm to arm. The only downside is, near as I can tell, the fists are not swappable. The only other downside is that the extended legs' feet aren't exactly flat and don't have any kind of peg hole, so while standing them on the stretched out legs isn't impossible, it will require a bit of creativity. Fully extended, and Dhalsim clocks in at 8 inches. All I'm saying is, Hasbro, you're on watch. When Fantastic Four comes out next year, if Pedro Pascal has nothing in the box for $25 but a pair of hands, I'm gonna riot. And you know what? I'm not even done yet. Dhalsim also comes with this articulated stand. See that tuning fork? That ports in right betwixt the hip balls, allowing for mid-air poses. To answer your unspoken question, yes, I could use it on a Marvel Legend, but that's probably gonna vary from individual figure to figure. And speaking of other figures, playability is more than just accessories. It's also about how well your figures play with others. Starting with a comparison I'm sure a lot of you are curious about, and here's the Playmates Ninja Turtles 2-pack Ryu. Canonically, Ryu is 5'9", so he is a bit on the tall side. Still, if you had to, I think you could make it work. On that note, and here we have the Playmates Chun-Li. For some Marvel vs. Capcom 2 love, and here we have the Marvel Legends 20th Anniversary Captain America, the 90s style retro card modular armor Iron Man, X-Men 97 Wolverine, and the Zabu Wave Cable. From the House of Ideas to the Distinguished Competition, and here we have some Batman figures starting with DC icons. For a fellow wired cape enthusiast, and here we have the Mafex Night Crusader. For an oldie but a goldie, and here's DC Universe Classics by Mattel. And even though they're wildly out of scale, I know someone's gonna ask, so here we have DC Multiverse. Otherwise, and for some other popular lines from smallest to largest, and here's Obi-Wan Kenobi from the Star Wars Black Series, the Power Rangers Lightning Collection SPD Green Ranger, the G.I. Joe Classified Series Storm Shadow, Flash Gordon from NECA's legendary comic book heroes line, Hollywood Elite John Cena by Mattel, and the Masters of the Universe Revelation Masterverse He-Man. For a relative scale comparison, here's Dhalsim and M. Bison with Pizza Spidey and the Spectacular Spider-Man, and as always, here they are with Stealth Iron Man. I thought fatalities were limited to Mortal Kombat. Fatality? Sorry, Gomez, this is just poor quality control. I think it goes without saying that for playability, I'm giving these two 5 points. This leaves us with nothing left to discuss but the price. At $24.99 a pop, is the Street Fighter line worth it?
Of course!
At a time when it feels like toy companies are giving us less and less and charging us more and more, this line isn't just good, it's a total knockout. For price, I'm giving Dhalsim and Bison 5 points, averaging out to a perfect total of 5 out of 5. If you want me to do more Street Fighter videos, please do all the YouTube rigamarole. YouTube's algorithm doesn't really like it when you do anything different. Your likes, comments, and shares really makes a difference. If you like this video, check out one of these. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back again real soon, but until then, play nice and have fun.